Okay, guys, sorry about that. That actually was my fault. I I have hotkeys set up on my keyboard, and I need to change it to a different location because sometimes when I am hopping back and forth between scenes, I'll hit that hotkey, and that hotkey's set up to shut the stream down. So I actually did that on accident. So that is me. I am so sorry about that. Guys, do me a favor though, because that happened. I actually went into the back office there on my channel, and I deleted the previous live stream because it gets rid of the confusion of people where they need to come back to. So yeah, and also please share it out now. If you could share the stream back out, because sometimes when that happens, it ends up not getting out. People leave, they don't come back, that kind of thing. Yes, thank you for, yes, Ilea, please smash that like button. So we're going to go ahead and just start from the get, okay, for anybody that's just coming in here. Guys, we've had an Xflare, all right, an R3 radio blackout conditions. So what you're looking at is that's the Xflare. Now, what you're looking at here, that's an N-flare from earlier, and I already reported on that. But these two are essentially the same size. So those are X-rays hitting us. Now these are this is protons, what we're looking at here. And there is a chance that we could still get a radiation storm from this. Although unlikely, there still is a chance. The more of these that keep happening, especially X-class, the better chance we have of protons just blasting us. So, also, we are now in a geomagnetic storm. This has absolutely nothing to do with this Xflare. Okay? Geomagnetic storms arrive after CMEs, right? And so this just happened, and there was a small CME with it, but it might be a larger one. I'm not sure. I haven't really looked at it that in depth yet. But that had nothing to do with this. This is from the coronal hole stream and the previous CME that I had showed you earlier. Okay, this is what was forecasted, and it just got here late. Okay, that's what was wrong here. Remember I was telling you guys there was like 3 days there in a row they were forecasting geomagnetic storms. Well, their forecasting was off with their timing. That's all it was. And I guess the direction could be off a little bit also. We'll have to wait and see. So what are they forecasting now? Well, let's go ahead and reset that. Yeah, they're saying G1. Yeah, see, we're already out of geomagnetic. What this up here is, guys, that's 24 hours maximums. Okay? This right here is latest observed. So if you're looking at here, it says G1. The next thing you need to look at is this. So right now, we are not in a geomagnetic storm with current data collection point. Right? What this does, it shows us the highest in the last 24 hours. Okay, and what this is showing you is the highest in this 3-hour increment. That's a 3-hour time frame, that bar is. Hey Daniel, good to see you, bud. Been missing you over on the lifeboat, man. Ain't seen you over there. Hope you're doing well, brother. Really do. But anyway, so Xflare, obviously, and then, like I said, this geomagnetic storm. Now they are forecasting us to be in G2 again tomorrow. You know, so right now it's the 3rd, okay, UTC. So we're looking at longer than 24 hours before we're looking at this stuff. Okay, anybody over here in the States, it's still the 2nd, but this is actually forecasting the 3rd right now. So when I say tomorrow, I'm talking about the 4th. Maybe I should just say the 4th, right? Yeah, that'd probably make more sense. Hey Anita, hey Kathleen, good to see you guys. So yeah, guys, so radio blackouts, that's, yeah, I mean, and see the Aurora kind of kicking up. This has nothing to do with the Xflare either. This is from the geomagnetic storm. But let me let's see if the absorption chart catches this Xflare. I hope it goes back far enough. But we're going to see it. We'll see if it does. Let's let it load here just for a second. What time is that saying? I think it might have. Right there. Okay. So, obviously, guys, Man, Tommy, go get some sleep, dude. I don't need you, like, getting in that car tired. Dude, what are you doing? I almost didn't send you a stinking text because of that. I just wanted you to know that's what was going on. So go get some sleep, brother. You're good, man. Appreciate you, man. Really do. But go get some sleep. Be safe. He's going to be making a drive here shortly, and he needs to get a little bit of rest before he gets in a car and drives for like 6 hours. So anyway, look at there. That's an Xflare. Okay, I don't even know what to say to that, dude. That puts a whole other level into a friendship, man. Anyway, yeah, I love it, man. Got me chuckling over here. So, look at that, guys. That is, I mean, that's pretty cool to look at. Notice, though, do you see how fast it hit and went away? You want to know why? Because it was a very quick flare. It was not a long duration one that we've seen before. Okay? So, yeah, I mean, I guess, what'd you say there, Dolores? Yeah, actually, the Northwest here of the United States took a pretty good X-ray hit here. You see that right there? So you may have, seen some radio blackouts in your area. Now, it wouldn't last very long. Okay, again, this is not a long duration one. See what happens here? Now, this was actually an issue, guys, when Hurricane Ian came inshore. We had a couple flares, and it did play havoc with first responders communications. They use ham radios and stuff. Okay, so that's why we pay attention to the the X-ray part of it for the most reason. That's why we pay attention to X-rays for that reason. So they're out there trying to rescue people or be in there emergency responding to a massive hurricane, and they're having communication issues. That's not a good thing. So this is another way to show you guys that the sun directly affects us in so many different ways. So understand that, and it's better now, but we're much better off with the quick flares than a long. Yes, most of the time. Okay, let me say that Craig's right on that. The only other time that's not the case, a lot of times with a really quick blast flare, you'll get a really big CME because of the eruptive power of the initial blast. Okay, sometimes with a longer lasting flare, it's kind of it's not an up and down, just a quick blast. It's more of a slow rise to the peak, and then it kind of falls off, right? So, in a weird way, and this isn't probably correct scientifically, but in a weird way, it's almost more stable on a long duration flare. Okay? It's just more consistently uptick and down. So, but they both can produce huge CMEs. But again, this one, I don't think it really did produce a huge one. I didn't see it anyway. So let's go check that out. Let's go see what we got with the CME front here. I'm going to try to use SDO because earlier today this thing was not loading right. So let me see if I can get this thing to reset and see how fast it loads. It actually looks like it's loading pretty good. Is it going to increase earthquakes? I would have to say yes. I can't pinpoint where. One thing I can definitely say, it will have an effect on seismic activity. Okay? Whether or not we actually see that, into fruition of an actual big earthquake or smaller one or some sort of an eruption with a volcano, I don't know. But it's significant enough that, yeah. And what makes it, trying to see who asked me that, but missing. Okay, yeah. Really what makes that a little bit more significant is the fact that we've had 3 very similar size flares. Okay, this was a high M class. That was a 5.6, I believe, M class flare. This was an 8.9, and this is like a really low X class. Actually, let's go look and see how big the X class actually was. It's an X1. Okay. So look what he's saying over here. Dr. Phillips is saying the same thing that I'm just saying to you right now. I haven't looked at this yet. It says a big dangerous sunspot, one of the biggest sunspots in years. Yeah, we've been actually talking about that. It just rotated over. Remember what we were saying? This is the sunspot that actually was changing the vibration of the whole sun. And that happens, guys, even on the ones that face us. Okay? But they're able to see these now because they're using seismic activity to be able to map out what the back of the sun looks like with flares. Hey, Raven, what's up? Hey, Mr. Dragon, what's going on? But what I want to point out, actually, we can go look at this on SDO. But guys, please go give them some love over here. These guys do so much for this genre of space weather. They do great work, so go give them some love and just go look at the webpage. Even if you just swing by, read this for a minute, and roll out, it gives them traffic, you know. So I'm sure that these advertisements and stuff over here on the side supporting what he does. So if you don't go over there and look, this will go away. I mean, honestly, that's just what it amounts to. And he's a doctor. He's got a doctorate in this, in physics of some sort. I don't know exactly what his degree is. It may be in space weather. I don't know. But he's been around for a while. So go check this out, guys. This webpage. But you see this right here. So what we can do real quick is we can go back over here. Yeah, this thing did update. Okay, so let's go back to when this... Okay, and so I'm going to show you this because this is the 171, and it doesn't usually show eruptions all that well. But it was showing the one before, the one earlier I showed you guys, this 171. And it did show plasma leaving the sun. But check out the Xflare on this time. Okay, right there. Okay, you can tell, you see you can't see a whole lot of plasma leaving. But do you see how powerful it was in the fact that the corona was just completely disrupted? You can see, and I'll roll this through in a slow way here. See how the atmosphere just kind of just went wham. Now, I will say this. As I'm looking at this, it does look like the actual brunt of the energy kind of went off this way. So if that is the case, it may not give us a direct hit with the CME. I was watching down here while I was looking at that, and it didn't look like it disrupted too much of the southern hemisphere here. Okay. Remember, this is from SDO, a satellite that has our perspective, right? It sits out in front of Earth, always looking at the sun. So, and you can definitely tell that it did not really go down this direction. You can see the atmosphere up here. Now, that's just on the 171. It's looking at a specific gas. So what we're going to do is we're going to check out the other ones too, okay? So let's go look at, I'll tell you what, let's look at the flare part first. The 131 usually shows that fairly well. While that's loading, I'll go over here. Actually, there's a 131 on SDO. Already got it pulled up. It may not show it though. Let's see. Yeah, it did. Okay, you see how we're not even looking at the flare? And look what happened here. You see this? This is because it got flooded with light. So as I back that off, I'll back that off one thing there. I'll cruise up here. Right, watch right here. Look at that. You see how quick that happened? Bam. Nothing. Bam. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Like 4 captures later, it's gone. That's how fast that was. That's how, like, impulsively, bam, there it was. Okay? That's important because, like I said, the longer duration ones will give you more chance at a radiation storm, but it is what it is. It could be Dillard. We don't know quite yet. We're going to have to wait. Now, I want to say this, too. This one over here is producing some X-ray, too. But that's an Xflare, guys. I know it looks like an X, but I've already told you guys what causes that. What causes that pattern to show up is it's just how the camera picks it up. It has absolutely nothing to do with with the actual strength of the classification of the flare. That's just, they called it an X flare before they seen it looking like an X. That's what I'm trying to say. So as you do that, and you guys can see how this one flared right before it. See that? And what's interesting is, again, we have these two erupting at the same time. You see how far away they are from each other? Okay, we've been talking about this. Look at that. All of it, all of it. Watch, bam. These two almost, this one actually went off before the X flare. So this could have been the instigator. Okay, so if I back that up, see how it's starting to grow? And then bam, there's your X flare. So, and they both played off at the same time. So why is that important? And then if you look down here, after that, I showed you guys this in the stream. I had to go back and delete because it was, I screwed it up. This filament fell back down to the sun. Okay, let me back that up some. See it right there? See it falling? But that happened right after the flare. So all this stuff is happening essentially at the same time. So, yeah. So I think probably what happened with this X flare, this was active anyway, but I think this flare that happened over here was probably just enough to destabilize it enough this far away that it caused that to go ahead and just bust off. That's kind of what it looks like to me. And you know, we know that that's a known phenomenon now too. They're studying that. Why do we see eruptions at the same time on multiple places on the sun? Well, the short answer is everything's connected magnetically. Okay? So there's magnetic connection lines on the sun itself, and they call it, like, when we talk about seismic activity on the sun, we're talking about magnetics usually. Okay? So you have magnetic, like, fault lines. It's kind of what they're saying. I'm not exactly sure the science behind all that, but again, that plasma and that unstable environment travels on those lines. Okay, so that's why you see it erupt in multiple places. Okay, so let's go back here to ISWA and see where we're at. Okay, see the definition difference? This is what I like to show you on ISWA. You see the, and we'll stop it. Now I'm going to give you guys a good comparison here, I think. So let's back this up. You guys see how clear that capture is? And you can actually see plasma leaving the sun. This is on ISWA. Now, if I take you to SDO, you see how kind of fuzzy that is? That's what you get on SDO. That's why I don't like to use the SDO site. This reason, you know, and inherently with a better capture, you're going to see more, number one, but number two, it actually can cause you to have issues with trying to show it to people because it takes more memory. There's a lot more pixels and stuff, a lot more definition to this. Okay, so anytime you do a better looking capture, you're using more of your bandwidth. So that's why. Anyway, you see how much better that looks? You see what I'm saying? So yeah. Yeah, guys, I see you guys in there talking about Mr. MBB3 and a few other channels in there. Like I said, guys, go check them all out. I always say that. And, you know, I have to say that Mr. MBB3 was, Michael is his actual name, guys. I've never actually physically talked to Michael, but he definitely is one of the reasons why I do what I do. When I first started looking at anything space weather, I was actually watching his daily reports he was doing in the summer of UV readings throughout the North America, and he kind of spread it out to the whole world a little bit there. He still does that, I think, but I don't think he does it as a focus as he used to. But he was the first one I seen report UVC on the surface, so he kind of got me into that, and I was looking at stuff because of him. And so, you know, in a kind of roundabout way, he's a little bit why I'm here. So I give him credit for that, for sure. He's a good guy too. I talked to him a little bit in chat because his son tried to start a channel too, and we were kind of supporting him years ago. And we really, his son's is a cool dude. His son's probably an adult now, or getting close to it. definitely in a teenager. So we were just trying to support him and his son and everything, and he actually came over and said thank you to us. So that was pretty cool. You know, he didn't have to do that. You know, and when you get that big, you know he's a legend in this community, number one, and he's a big channel. So, and I appreciate what he does. So anyway, there's your Xflare on that. So let's take a look at different another angstrom real quick. Okay. And again, guys, anybody from here from any other channel while this is loading, you know, thank you for coming over here. You know, you might hear from Pastor Begley's channel and elsewhere. Thank you for coming. I really appreciate you. I really do. And again, guys, go check out his channel. Go check out Mr. MBB3's channel, everybody else's channel. But I'm not going to keep doing these shout outs right now. I promise you guys I wouldn't. Sorry. I kind of broke my own rule there, didn't I? I'm sorry. Didn't mean to. But what this is going to show us is we can actually look at all three different flares here. So watch what happens here. There's one of them. I showed you guys this earlier. Okay, that erupted out, right? Then that one. Okay, I think that was the Xflare I just showed you. Okay, so again, it's going to look very similar to the one before. Okay, so here's your M8.9 flare right here. Okay, see how much got ejected out? Okay, back at you, Ricky. Glad you're here. And then, oh heck, that was the Xflare. Okay, they look so much alike that I couldn't even tell the difference. Ain't that crazy? So here we go. Here's the M8.9 flare. See the plasma just blasting out. I tell you what, let's go in a little closer. Get you guys a really good look at that. This is giving us a really good look at the ejection itself. So I'll back it up. Okay, you see the plasma leaving the sun there? Notice how it's not on a connection line here. It's not falling back down like solar rain. It's impulsively erupting out, so it's kind of breaking rules, right? It's just bam. It's out there. It's getting exploded out. But notice how it stays on lines after it gets out, like right here. That's what it does. Positive and negative, you know, obviously they attract each other, and that's how they travel. That's how this stuff travels. Plasma is a gas that has a charge, which means it has a negative and a positive. And it's similar to electricity, but it's not exactly the same. So I'm not going to call it that. All right. But that was the M8, and then there was a smaller flare right there with an eruption. And now here we go with the bigger one. Here's the MX right there, or not the MX, the Xflare. Okay, that definitely shot out some plasma, but it definitely was about the same as the M8. It was really close, and it makes sense because the flares were about the same size. Yeah, no fear, guys. There's no grid down here, by the way. Like I said earlier in my first stream, I guess I didn't say it when I came back on here. So that's a lot of plasma. Okay. Now the next question is what? You know, is it coming at us, right? I mean, I know that's where everybody's going there, because I did. Let's look at the 211 first, though. The 211 angstrom. That's the purple version. And guys, if you guys ever go over here to ISWA, they've changed it a little bit. Anybody that hasn't been back here for a minute, they've changed it some. If you go to the if you go here to the solar tab, and then you go to the page 2, see SDO here? Notice they're in a bunch of different SDOs now. Each different angstrom used to have its own tab. It does not anymore. And it's great that they did it this way, because what they've done is they put it down here in the type. So all you got to do is change it here. Okay? So it's awesome that they did this. But I think I'm going to have to, I may have to Yeah, I got to update this. Sometimes when you do this, it'll go back to the last time you showed this angstrom. Okay, so if I just hit update here, see how it started at 66%? So it already had 66% of the images it's trying to give me. So it's only got to load 30% of them. So that's what you see in there. And again, that right, what you're looking at here, this is stereo A. I'm not sure if this picked it up or not. This hasn't got enough time frame yet. This hasn't yeah, it's not going to give us any imaging of this Xflare yet, because it happened at 20 or right around 18. So this is an occulter disc, so we're not going to see it here on stereo A yet. Okay, what you're seeing there is that M8 flare. Okay, and I'm not sure that's even coming at us, but it is what it is. So let's look at this real quick. Okay, so I'm going to zoom in. And so let's do this. What's that? Okay, yeah. All right. So that looked like the Xflare, I think. See that? Let's scroll down here. No, that was not. That was the M8. Okay, yeah. You see how much different this looks? This is the Xflare. Watch. There. See that? See how it all went this direction? I'm telling you guys, I don't know if that CME is going to touch us. It might. I'm not sure. But it definitely did not have any southerly component to it. It's not disrupting the atmosphere down here at all. See that? It literally is like it blew that way. I don't know that I've seen one do that in a while. You would think it would blow out towards us, right? This thing blew north and actually backwards almost. But this is not plasma. This is the corona. So what we're seeing is the disruption in the corona. You know, if you want to talk about the plasma that left off, I showed you guys the 304. It most definitely went off this way. But I was just trying to see the width of it to see if it was actually going to sneak down and hit us. It could. I'm not saying it's not, because it definitely could. But there's your Xflare. Now watch what happens after the Xflare. This filament's going to fall back to the sun. Watch. See that? See how the corona got disrupted? And then it falls all back down to the sun. I don't think any of that made it out. That all got recaptured. Okay? And keep in mind that, trying to see here. Okay. Yeah, it didn't really show us too much of a disruption there from that little bit of flaring it was having over there. So this thing really didn't have a CME much with it. It just was enough to give us some X-ray and probably destabilize magnetically enough to help instigate these other eruptions, 1, 2, and 3 of them. So, yeah. Let's back that off a little bit. Now, I do want to show you, because here also, guys, you can do this too. Come over here, hit the type, and you go to the SDO HMI Solar Continuum. I probably should have hit the color one. We're going to let that load, okay? And we'll go do something else here. Let's go look at seeds and see if it picked it up yet. Look here. You see this? This here is LASCO C2. It's another satellite, sits out in front of Earth, about 1 million miles closer to the sun than what we are. And it's always looking at the sun. This down here is the M8 flare. So let's look at that first. Okay? So that's the CME related to the M8 flare. Now, again, I do see a kind of like a halo component here a little bit. All right? It doesn't look like it's huge halo, but obviously the majority of this is actually going, I don't think it's really coming at us. Now, because of its position, when we see these, that are going off kind of to our right. I'm going to use left to right. When you're looking at the sun, it's actually backwards. It would be to our right would be west. Now, I know I'm not going into why, but that's how they do it when they're talking about the sun. So because of this, and because of the end little spiral that we know that happens, and what am I talking about with the spiral? Well, let me just show you so I can explain that. Let's where's the CME tracker? Now you can look at it on NOAA also, but this spiral, you see how this thing is spiraling? These are magnetic connection lines. These are interplanetary magnetic field lines. The sun's connected to everything, including the satellites that are out there. See this? Notice how, because of this spiral, everything, the magnetic connection lines hook back around, right? So if things are firing off this way, they actually do kind of hook back around. So even though it looks like these might be firing straight off this way, because of this phenomenon here, it can reach back around and get us. Okay? So that's what we're talking about here. We've actually had CMEs that were actually, part of it was occulted by the sun. In other words, the sun was actually in the way a little bit, and it would fire off, and it would still hit Earth because of this. Okay? So yeah, that's what I'm talking about when I'm talking about that spiral thing. And no, this thing is not updated for that Xflare yet. Okay? So you know, when this thing updates, I'll show it to you. My guess is they probably won't update it till tomorrow morning because it's Monday. But that's just what they do. You know, that's just how it works. So let's go back here to seeds. So again, just because it's going that way doesn't mean it can't hook back around and give us a blow. All right. So if I back off here and go back here, now remember, this is good. This is a tool that's set up to pick up CMEs. So when it sees something, it actually will put a small movie down here for you. If we look at it here, we might not even see it at all. But we did, it looks like. So it looks like it is showing it here. So this is going to show us all three of them, actually. At least a little bit of all three of them. That was 1, 2, and then we'll pause it there. See if we go. See, it kind of skipped around a little bit. But what you're seeing there, that's the Xflare. You can tell by the timing. See this? So if I back that up, so what we'll do is we'll back off of there and we'll look at it here, what it's trying to show you. And sure enough, it's exactly what it is. Okay? So let me back it off. See that? Okay? So there's your Xflare eruption. Notice, though, you're still seeing a halo. A little bit of a halo. Watch. See that? How it's kind of sneaking around here? It's not a full halo, but it is partly. In other words, this black occulter disk is blocking us from seeing it. And it means that some of it probably is coming at us. You know, how much? We're just going to have to wait and see. How strong is it going to be? Can't even tell you that. But, you know, with the next flare and how fast that thing was moving, it did look like it was moving pretty quick. So typically a faster shot's going to hit us. You can give us a little bit more issue. You know what I'm saying? Hope you guys understand that. Hope I'm explaining things well. Guys, let me know if I'm doing okay. If I'm explaining things, if I'm going too much into things here, if I need to back off of anything, let me know. Because I want to be able to explain it to, oh my gosh. See, look at this. Look. We just had another flare. Now, I say, oh my gosh, just because we had a flare. It doesn't mean it's big, because it's not. But it is an M-class flare. It looks about like an M2, maybe. So let's go over here to spaceweather.com and see if it's updated yet. Yep, it was an M3. See here, it gives you a 6-hour max. In the last 6 hours, the maximum this thing is seen is an M3. That means the X1 happened before that. But it gives you a 24-hour max here too. This is another awesome thing, you know. But yeah, Ain't that crazy, Linda? Yeah, for sure. For sure, Linda. 100, man. Awesome. Well, thanks, Menacing. Appreciate you. Okay. I just want to make sure you guys are understanding what I'm saying. You know? Hey, Angel, good to see you. It was nice to see you over on the lifeboat tonight. Thank you for coming over. Anybody else follows me over there, I really appreciate you. I hope that people are getting stuff out of that. I know they are, actually. But I do want to talk about this sunspot, okay? So I'm going to go back here to SDO, and this is kind of the same imaging. I think it's the same imaging, actually. It is. Okay, this is the same imaging we're using here. It's not this. We can look at this, but we go back here. Okay. See how you got hardly anything, right? You had this bigger sunspot, and we have been seeing some good size sunspot groupings. All right. A lot of these are vibrating the whole sun. Okay, you're going to hear that phrase, and I've said that before, but understand that that phrase is probably going to get used a lot, but it's also going to start to fade off because it's something fairly new that they've been talking about. Hey, what's going on, Ron? Guys, go over and check out Emergency Management Associates. That's where you want to get your earthquake stuff from, right? Go check him out. Ron's an awesome dude. But yes, Ron, actually, they were in here asking me if I thought this was going to increase earthquake activity, and my answer was yes, I most certainly think it will. Hey, Trinity, what's going on, girl? Go check her out, too. See, guys, everybody, see, I'm doing shout-outs. Tell me to shut up, would you? Please? I'm really trying not to do that till I'm done showing everybody everything. Yeah. I think I've stayed on point pretty good tonight. Trying to. So I think even the people that want to talk about other things actually want me to do it this way too. And if they don't, you know, sometimes people just aren't going to have the time. So I do want to talk about this sunspot. Reason being is this is a sunspot grouping. I know when we say spot, people are thinking just one little spot, right? That's not how these things work. They consider this one sunspot, okay? It's just a grouping of a bigger, multiple cores, okay? And what's important to know here is remember that, you know, negative, positive, they get close to each other, what happens? We get eruptions, okay? I use the word shorting out. The only reason why I use that is because everybody understands what that is. And it does give you a visual, right? If you short something out, something breaks, right? If you have an incandescent light bulb, you have a filament in the middle of that light bulb. And if you look at it, these are old style light bulbs for all you young people. Okay? They actually have a wire in there that's called a filament. I use that same term when I'm showing you the sun because it is the same. In that filament, depending on how bright they want it, they will coil that in the middle. Because what that's doing is it's causing resistance. When the resistance is there, what's it do? Resistance insinuates what we would consider stuff like friction and things like that. You take your hand and you put your hand on your carpet at home and rub it back and forth real fast, what happens? You're producing heat. What does heat produce most of the time? Light. Okay? That's why the filament in an incandescent light bulb, that's a really basic way to explain to you how that works. Now, when those break, they quit working, right? Well, for us, let me make sure I didn't do something crazy there. Okay, we're still streaming. Okay, I accidentally hit a button. Sorry, I'll make sure I didn't stop the stream again like I did earlier. Because I did. Y'all know I did. But yeah, guys, so as we're looking at this, yeah, I hope you guys are really getting this, because I really hope you understand this part. Now, when the negative and positive of these cores start getting close to each other, they start flaring. Because exactly what I just said with the explanation of the incandescent light bulb. Now, it was never more apparent than that one I showed you guys down here on the southern part of the sun. Now, remember, this spot here is not the one that gave us the Xflare. Okay? So we got to pay attention to this thing. It's rotating in. This one here, it's on its way out. And we're going to have to watch this thing too until it's, obviously we can't see it. But much like that one over there, you're seeing negative and positives really close to each other. They're mixing in together. And this one here, if I'm looking at this correct, and I don't want to make a claim here because I don't know if this is actually what it's actually looking at here. When we look at the negative and positives on these sunspots, they should be east-west or west-east oriented. In other words, the negative and positive should be east and west, not north and south. This one here looks like it's kind of north and south. I'm not saying that it is. I'm just saying that's what it appears to on this one model. The north-south ones are extremely rare. When we do see those, because they do happen. This isn't something we've never seen. We actually had it before earlier on this year. And they do seem to be more active. And I can tell you that this sunspot, guys, is more active than what we've been seeing. Something else I'm going to mention here. And I have no idea of the real science behind this. I know it's something that people are starting to research. It's something called Earth-facing quiet. And I can't even speak to exactly what that is. I can give you a basic understanding of what I'm understanding. Is basically it is when these sunspots and stuff get in front of Earth, they quiet down and they quit firing. And I can tell you just by watching what's happened the past few weeks, I've seen that. We've seen it like this one here. We'll keep an eye on this, okay? If this thing starts firing flares, and then when it gets about right here, if it stops, and then when it gets back over here and starts flaring again, I don't know what I'm going to think. Because, I mean, if it does it again like that, because we've seen multiple sunspots this sun cycle do that. They get close to directly Earth facing, and they quiet down. And is there something there scientifically that I don't know about that other people are just now starting to research? You know what I mean? And that's kind of what I'm saying. So understand that, guys. That it does look like there might be something to that. And it's going to be, let me tell you this straight up. It will be years, if not decades, before they come out and start talking about this on a mass level. Because it is definitely something that is going to be researched. It already is. And a lot of it's being done by a lot of independent people. But I do think there's a few studies going on right now, too, at like the collegiate level. Some of the observatories and some of the space weather physicists and stuff like that. They probably are looking at this. I can't see them not. And it's not just something that's happened this year. It's happened, it's been something that people have been noticing. There's a pattern. Okay, people are starting to notice a pattern of this. And yeah. And I know that there's other people out there, talking about this. So again, go check out everybody's channels, please. And like I said before, you're going to find the truth where everybody's talking about something, and I might have a different idea. Such and such over here might have a different idea, and then down the road, somebody else might have a different idea. And the point where our conversations match each other, like they overlap, that's probably going to be where the truth is. Just saying. And that's just my opinion. So, hey, Mark J from Kansas in the hizzy. Hey, you could keep them tornadoes, by the way, man. Keep them back your way, man. I don't want them coming over here. Just kidding. I love tornadoes now. I really do, guys. I'm like addicted to them, I guess. But anyway, guys, I wanted to show you this because this is important to know. So, and something else I'm going to say right here. Do not think that you're unable to understand this stuff. please do yourself a favor. And as a matter of fact, if you guys go over to NOAA, and I'll show you here in a second. I'm going to put this link in the chat to ISWA. Okay. Now, I'm probably going to do like a short and start explaining to people again, because I used to do this early on, how to navigate this ISWA site and how to navigate like seeds. I went down to showing you what buttons to push, right? I may do some playlists like that for you guys. If you guys want me to do that for you, I can. Just let me know. Let me know in the chat or let me know in the comment section, and I can do that. I'll take the time. We'll put it in a playlist. It'll be an edited video, so you can just keep referring back to it if you are confused. So the best thing to do, if you don't understand stuff over here, is to come over here and start clicking buttons. You can't screw it up. Okay? Also, let me show you something. When you hover over any of these tabs, watch. Okay? It says SDO Space Weather Product, SDO. Okay? You see what that did? See how it dropped down another thumbnail picture? It says coronagraph. Now, some of these will give you an actual depth of what it's actually showing you, like this one. It's a coronagraph beacon difference imaging. It tells you all that. So what that allows you to do is it allows you to read that, and if you don't understand what some of those words are, you can look them up. Okay? So that's what I'm saying. Go do this. You guys are smart enough to understand it. Don't think that you're not. I feel bad when you guys say that about yourself, because I really do. I mean, I used to feel the same way about myself. I really did. But it makes me feel bad because I know what that feels like, you know? When people just start throwing a bunch of word salad at you, and I've said this before, we don't need to do that. The general public, and for us that we would want to just have like a little bit more than a basic knowledge of something, right? We don't have to have all those words. You don't need it to explain it to somebody. You don't. So a lot of times they get wrapped up in what they're doing, and a lot of them don't realize they're doing it. Okay, I'll say that first and foremost. But some people try to use big words on purpose. Those are the people that you probably might want to reconsider watching. And I say that because they're trying to make themselves seem more intelligent or better than you than what they really are. And I ain't got to name names, and I never will. But you guys know who those people are. You see it. You guys are intuitive enough to know that. And I'm never going to tell you how to think. And that's something else that other channels will do to you. They'll tell you how to think. And if you don't think how they think, guess what? What do they do? What do they do to you? They ban you, right? They block you. They want an echo chamber. That's what they want. Yeah, exactly. Hey, that's a really good way to say it, Jerry. Jesse, I'm sorry. Is that Jerry or just Jerry? Jerry Baker? Big words have their place. Yes, they do. But yeah, keep it simple. Okay? You know where big words have places? And I'm being serious when I say this. Where people understand those words. Where those words are spoken often, that they become part of their regular vocabulary. The words that some people use on here are never going to be part of your regular vocabulary. So you're not really going to put the time and effort to try to understand what they're saying. So, yeah, the words have their place, and most of the time they're around, like, you know, universities and, you know, observatories and people that really went to school for this kind of thing. Right? I'm just a hillbilly from Indiana trying to understand what's going on. And that's just what it is. I'm not ashamed of that either. I have so much more knowledge now about this than I ever thought I would. And I have to give you guys credit for that, and I have to give every other channel out there, including the channels that probably don't like me or think that I'm stupid. I still watch them because I learn from them. I'm not going to let their opinion of me stop me from trying to gain knowledge from what they're saying. Am I going to promote their channels? No. That would be ridiculous, because I will not send you to somebody that's negative. At least in my opinion, that they're negative. So just know that. So are more coming at US solar wise? I would have to say yes. And let me show you why I say that. This is NOAA's forecasting, guys. You see this down here? This says S1. Those are radiation storm levels. There's a 30% chance for the next 3 days we're going to have a radiation storm. But what's got me saying that I think other things are going to happen? Check this out. R1 to R2. These are flares. There is a 70% chance for the next 3 days that we're going to have considerable flaring. There is a, and this is actually a big number. There is a 30% chance for the next 3 days that we're going to see another Xflare, because that's what that is. R3, Xflare. Okay? R1, R2, M flare. So we have to pay attention right now. We just had this happen. That was another flare. So what we're going to do, because that just happened, we're going to try to look at it real quick, and then I'm probably going to end the stream. So what I'm going to do, we'll go over here to 131. We're going to let that load for a second. Let's see here what we got. Let's go back here. And again, guys, those are X-rays. Oh, there's one more thing I want to do for you. Anybody that was thinking about bolting out for a second, hang on just 1 second. I want to do this for you guys because this is a question that I sometimes forget to answer. So let me answer that for you. The question is, what can we expect with these kinds of conditions? Okay. Before I show you this here and read this to you, if you guys come over here to NOAA, Space Weather Prediction Center, I'm going to copy and paste this in the chat also. There it is. If you come over here to this page, okay, try to figure out what you got going on here. You can kind of look at this. I've explained this before, but the biggest benefit to this one, if you scroll all the way down, you see all this? These are links to models, all the models I show you guys. So if I click on one of these, and I'm going to, let's go to this one, the D region absorption prediction, the DRAP. It should take me to this. Okay, let's see what it does. Yep, see that? So you can play this model and only have this there. You don't have to have this dashboard. This is a dashboard with multiple different tools on it. Okay, so if you want to know something very specific, and then you guys, GOES electron flux, GOES magnometer, proton flux, they break it all down. Here's the X-ray. Okay, this here is this. Oh, I can't show you now. It's here. Yeah, I can't show you right this second, but this is the same graph of X-ray, right? So it'll tell you current, beginning, maximum, end. You guys can go over and check it out. And it doesn't look like it's updated. Let's see here. No, it did. Okay. It should have the Xflare on here. I'd have to look. So what time did that happen? Right about there. Yep, right here. Here's the Xflare. Okay. See how this barely peaked over X class? And again, I have to emphasize this. Both these M flares were very close to this. All three of those are the same size. When you see this dropout spike, I've been asked that too. What's happening is the satellite is in a position that the Earth actually gets between the satellite and the sun, so it can't collect the data. So you'll have a dropout, what looks like a complete dropout of all X-ray. Guys, I can tell you that that will never happen. Okay, just so you know. You gonna geek out on this side, are you? Yeah, I did too when I first started looking at this stuff, Eileen. I really did. It grabbed me real hard. It really did. Something else when we're talking about sunspots real quick. You see this red line? This is their predicted values of the amount of sunspots we were supposed to have this sun cycle. We've not once been on that line. We've been above it, and sometimes massively above what their forecasting was. The last one that just came in, we had 96 sunspots in the month of September. Okay, what was their forecasting? 51. Almost double. Keep that in mind, guys. Yes, Ron makes a good point there, guys. Expect more earthquakes. This does. Guys, and this is the easiest way to explain it. Energy in means energy out. If you're getting hit with a bunch of energy, it's going to come in. It's going to come into our global electric circuit. It's going to come into, it just fires through like muons and nuons and all those things that we talk about with cosmic rays. It all goes to the core, and it's all energy at some level. Energy in means that energy has to go somewhere. It's got to come back out. And a lot of times it comes back out in the form of seismic activity via earthquakes, geysers, volcanoes, all this stuff. Yeah, what'd you say there? Unifru dude? 0048? You're fired, dude. Okay. That's awesome. You're fired, dude. That's an awesome name. 0048. Yeah, M class, but we did have an X class. So we'll go back to that. I'll take you up here and show it to you again. It's right here. So it did give us R3 radio blackout. So what's that mean? Okay, R3. Wide area blackout of high frequency radio communications. Loss of radio contact for about an hour on the sunlit side of the Earth. That's important to know. Okay? So, first responders using ham radios and stuff like that, GPS users, all these things play together, right? So when we get radio blackouts, this affects first responders. Really, really bad sometimes. So if we're having like major major hurricanes, this actually, not this past hurricane, but I believe, was it 2 years ago? We had the big hurricane down in Puerto Rico, and they lost their whole power this last time too, right? But I think they lost their power then also from a hurricane, but then they lost the ability for their first responders to have communications because of why? There were solar flares happening. So it really jacked them up. So just understand that, guys. It's yeah. Hold on. Where is the sun going to be? Hopefully it stays where it's at. Beyond blessed. I hope so. See you, Linda. Have a good night. Thanks for stopping by. But those are radio blackouts. So we also have geomagnetic storms right now. We're at a G1 right now. You can get weak power grid fluctuations. You're going to see an increase in Aurora. Those kinds of things. Mainly good things, I have to say. Aurora are good. That's one of the cool things we see. Now, as you start getting into G2, G3, you start seeing Aurora down towards mid-latitude. What's that mean? That means that it's closer to the equator. Geomagnetic activity comes in easier at the poles. So you see the conditions that we see, like right now, here, we had an R3 radio blackout, right? And a G1 storm. If you're like up in Canada or Siberia, over in Russia, if you're like from the United States border of Canada and northward, the conditions that you're seeing geomagnetically during this storm are probably higher. Okay? They most certainly are. Because NOAA will give you a forecast for mid-latitude and high latitude. And they'll give you a percentage of what they think is going to happen. And every time, the ones closer to the poles get a stronger storm. That's why we see Aurora there. Okay? You know, the geomagnetic activity spills in, interacts with oxygen, nitrogen molecules, and as those things are going back to their, trying to get back to their stable state, they produce those that light, green, red, pink, whatever they're doing, right? It's not the actual particles hitting the other energy, it's the actual particles themselves trying to get back to their stable state. And in that process, they put off that light. That's a really basic understanding of Aurora, but you guys can dig into that too, and you're going to get a lot of good information. So, but yeah, so I think it's significant here, guys. 70% chance for the next 3 days of more M-class flares, 30 for X. And typically, guys, this X-class flare prediction sits at about 1%. So understand that. Now, this just updated. You see this? See, we're really in geomagnetic storm level for a very short amount of time. But they are forecasting us to go back up. You know, going into the 4th, they're talking like a G2. So if you guys do the little quick tabs up here, you can click this arrow and you can go over 3 days. So on the 3rd, they're saying G1. On the 4th, maximum we'll see is G2. And on the 5th, back down to normal. Okay? But again, that's all subject to change, especially when we're talking about like the end of the day on the 4th, end of the 5th. If the CMEs from these flares come at us, all this could change. Okay? Because they'll get here in like 3 days. If not sooner, or they could be a little bit later, which is actually what's going on here. So, let's go back to ISWA here. And let's try to update this, because I want to see if it's going to show us that other M flare. Let's see what it gives us. Hopefully it will. Let's go ahead and zoom in. And guys, thanks for being here. I really appreciate you. I really, truly, honestly do. I can't tell you how much I appreciate you. It's such a great thing. And while that's doing that, I do want to do this. I want to show you guys. Anybody doesn't know, I have a second channel. That second channel, and we're at the end of what I'm getting ready to show you, so I'm going to go ahead and do this while that's loading, so I don't waste your guys' time. Okay? I had a pill addiction for multiple years, and I've been sober for 11 years now. Me and my partner Tommy here, we started this channel called The Lifeboat. It is an amazing group of people. Basically it's an online group, right? We don't judge people, none of that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave a link to this one particular video, because this actually has to do with what we've got going on in our world today. If you guys think that the fentanyl crisis wasn't a plan, you might want to look a little bit deeper there, okay? Because I promise you that it's coming from one specific country that I'm not going to name, and I think we all know. It's where, you know, the pandemic thing that shut us down for 2 years came from. But here's the link to this channel over here, guys. We're live every night not every night, I'm sorry, Friday through Tuesday. We stay live on the weekends for obvious reasons. People struggle on the weekends with their addictions, right? We've helped a lot of people get into rehabs. We stopped a few people from actually doing the worst thing they can do to themselves. Okay? So know that. We don't judge people over here. If you're high, if you're drunk, you can come into our chat. We want to help you. Okay? We don't judge you. And as soon as you come into the chat, you're going to have about 10 people in here tell you that they love you. And they mean it. So just know that. It's that kind of environment. And that's just what it is. This is my partner here, guys. This little quick thing on him. He was in federal prison for 7 years for robbing banks and casinos and doing stuff like that to fuel his drug addiction. He had a heroin addiction for 30 years. And now me and him are out here doing this, trying to help people. And so there you go. There it is. There's my little spiel. Please come over there and give us a chance. If you know anybody that's in addiction, I promise you they can learn and we can try to help. If you just want to learn, if you want to come over here around good people that are talking about pertinent things that are happening in our world, as far as the addiction goes, the DEA just came out with a report, guys. 36 million lethal doses of fentanyl were seized in the past 6 months. They're sprinkling these things into our kids, into everything. Fentanyl's getting put into everything. They're making it look like candy. They're changing the colors of these pills. It's called rainbow dope. Kids are dying trying weed for the first time. They're lacing this stuff with weed on weed and not telling nobody. So please talk to your kids, please. And I'm sorry I got a little, intense there, but I am so on this because, I got teenagers and I fought a drug addiction, like I said. And if you knew my family and asked me how I stayed sober for 11 years, you probably wouldn't even have to ask me that. So anyway, because my family is what keeps me sober. So let's go back to the flare real quick. I just wanted to mention that while this was loading. So I respected your guys' time. I didn't want to, I'm really truly trying, guys, to respect your guys' time. Because I understand. I get it. Okay. So thank you for giving me the chance to prove myself here and respecting you with your time, because it's important. And I'm sorry that I did that to you guys. I went back and watched a couple of my streams, and I did. I was doing way too many shout outs for way too long. So I promise you it'll be space weather at the beginning from now on. Nothing else. And that's what I've been doing for the past few videos. Check it out, guys. Look, this is where the Xflare came from. Guess what? This one just flared over here. That was the flare we just seen. See that? You know what that's telling me? We'll go ahead and zoom in here so you guys can see that a little bit better. Look at that. So now we got two big sunspots on both sides of us firing. There's a really good chance that we're going to see a lot more. I showed you guys this sunspot with the continuum. The one with the polarity, with the blue and the red, the positive and negative close to each other. This is not going to go away. This is rotating in towards us. So if this does this right in front of us, the chances of us getting hit is very substantial. So just understand that, guys, okay? So you guys got any questions before I pop off here? I will definitely try to answer them if I can. I'm not sure if I can, but I can try. This is SDO, by the way. I'm going to go ahead and back off of that. And we'll try to look at stereo. Let's see what stereo A is showing us. Okay, this is from a side view. There are no stupid questions, DC pardon. Okay, just so you know. How will these flares affect us? They've already affected us. A flare is nothing more than a big blast of X-ray. X-rays move at the speed of light. So when they leave the sun, they're here in 8 minutes. Okay? So what the flare does, the X-ray part of the flare is here, right? So if we look at what it can do, there's actually, and I'm going to show you guys where it's at. If you scroll down to the bottom of this page, you guys can go here and it will be under, let's see here. Chronographs. Let's see here. I can't remember exactly where it's at. I'm sorry. It's taking me a second. Notifications. Solar wind, satellite environment. Summaries. It's here somewhere, guys. I can't remember exactly where it's at. But it's this model right here. And what I'll do is, this is what I'll do. Here. It's called the space weather scales. NOAA space weather scales. Okay? I'm going to copy this link. Okay? And I'll put it in the chat here for you. Copy. Paste. There you go. So there's the link to get to this model. And what this is going to tell you, it's going to tell you this is geomagnetic storm levels. Now, if you go down here, you see solar radiation storms. And what you want to look at for flares is radio blackout. So we just had an R3 storm. So that'll tell you exactly what we can expect. Now, a flare and a CME are two different things, but they happen at the same time a lot. So when we're looking at CME stuff, we want to look at geomagnetic storm. This is what we look at when we're talking about grid down stuff. So if it's ever going to be grid down, you guys are watching me, please come over here and I'm going to say right off the bat if I think it's something like that. I'm not going to make you wait. That's the first thing that's going to come out of my mouth if I think it's something like that. And most of the time, it's not going to be, guys. You know, it's only like that the one time, right? You see what I'm saying? So if I actually come out here and say that, I hope you take me serious, because I really push against that. I don't want to ever cry wolf. I think it's a bad thing for this community and for everybody in general, because when it does come time, you know, people that say things and put dates on things and stuff like that, you know, I don't judge them at all. I won't. It's their right to do that. And if that's really how they feel, that's how they feel. But when they tell the public that, and then it doesn't happen, they're forced to move the goalpost back or leave the internet, because their credibility drops every time they're wrong. And what happens there, guys, is that when it's time to actually be serious, and it really does happen, nobody's going to listen, because it's been said so many times before. And I don't want that to ever be the feeling when you come watch me. Okay? So I really hope you guys don't get that from me, because I really try my best not to do that. So, guys, yeah. Let's go over here and look at this one more time, and then we are going to pop out of here, okay? Here is that newest flare. But to answer your question, yes, please come over here and read this. Don't be afraid to click buttons. I'm going to be coming out with some playlists, guys. I'm going to show you guys how to navigate these sites, okay? Because you're going to be doing yourself a favor. You are smart enough. I promise. Okay? Don't think that you're not. I felt the same way, and I felt overwhelmed. But if you have questions and you come here, I will try my best to take the word salad out of it and give you guys a basic explanation of what's going on. At least so you can have a good start at understanding. Well, thank you, Val. I appreciate you. I really do. Thank you. Thank you for giving me a shot here, guys. Hey, Keith. Yeah, and I'm serious about this, guys. That's how I run my channel. I always have. And I'm never going to be any different, because it's just the way that we need to be. You know, I don't need to throw big words at you to get you to understand what's going on. And it's counterintuitive. It really is. It makes it worse. If I don't understand things, what happens? I quit watching, right? You know, and if I come here and I'm mean and I'm just like, oh, you got to believe how I believe. How long you guys going to hang out? I know I don't hang out there ever. So yeah, power off. What are you talking about? Is the power off? I don't know. I kind of missed that a little bit. Hey, Rock. Thanks, man. I appreciate you. But guys, I am very passionate about this, and I'm always here when big things happen. I try to be here at least every couple days to give you an update on what's going on anyway. Oh, cool. That'd be cool. Yeah, guys, please go check out Ron over at Emergency Management Associates. He does earthquake stuff, guys. Please go check him out. And again, like I said, guys, check everybody out. Even if you don't think that you like them as a person, go listen to what they have to say. Honestly. So just understand that. But I wish I could answer all your guys' questions. I seen one come across there. How long did this happen? Well, guys, I mean, it's been going on for a few days now with the flares, but now we're getting geomagnetic storming. And just come back to the channel, and I do explain these things in detail. Go back and let's live stream. I think I went in some pretty good detail here. And I've actually been streaming for an hour and 15 minutes and I really haven't stopped talking. That's kind of crazy to me. I usually don't do that. I just had, there's a lot going on. I'm trying to keep my, sorry. That right there, guys, again, that's my second channel, and I'm going to put the link there too. Please come give me a follow over here. Me and Tommy. I'm serious, guys. You can't. Okay, listen to this. I'm gonna say this one time. The worst thing that can happen to us is us to do the ultimate, like, hey, I'm ending in all of it, right? That's the worst thing we can do. Oftentimes, people that are on drugs, people that are fighting this, do that. And we want to step in front of that before that happens. We want to be there when that window opens up just a little bit so we can be that voice of reasoning. Because that's what it took for me. I wasn't thinking right when I was taking too many pills and addicted to those things. All I could think about was just feeling okay and feeling high or whatever. I couldn't see it, right? So when I had that little, I got lucky enough that my wife was here. When I had that little bit of a window crack, and she grabbed it and she took me and she took care of me. We want to be that for you guys over here. At least help. You won't ever get judged. People will never do anything to you over here, talk to you stupid, any of that, because if they do, they're gone. We don't allow it. If you're high, if you're drunk, come into our chat. We want to help you. Okay? We've helped people, so many of them so far. I mean, we've helped people not commit the ultimate act of ending ourselves, right? We've gotten a lot of people into rehab and for help, and there's been a lot of success. You know, the numbers are not in our favor, guys. People that are actually in recovery have an 80% chance of relapsing. Okay? That's a huge number. But you know what? What we need to focus on is the 20% that don't. All right? I'm in that 20%. And the reason is because of the people around me that love me, my support system. And what I'm saying is the lifeboat here can be that for a lot of people that don't have that in their personal life. We can at least give you a piece of that and get you moving in the right direction. We don't want you to be in that 80%. We don't want you to not have that chance. So that's what we're doing. You know? We support everybody that comes over here, no matter what your religion is, no matter what your beliefs are. It doesn't matter to us. We have our own, I'm a Christian. I'm not afraid to say it, and I say it over there. But we don't stop other people from believing how they believe. You know what I mean? And, for me, yes, my Christianity has been a big part of my recovery. And it helps. It helps me. But we don't pretend to know what's good for you. And we're not going to tell you how to think. We're just going to be there to show you and give you avenues to go down to help. And if you've got kids right now, please talk to them about this stuff. Fentanyl is horrible. They're putting benzos with fentanyls too now. It's called benzo dope. Narcan does not work on benzos. Our kids are dying at the rate of 150 to 200,000 a year now. Did you hear me? Back in the 70s, they called the fentanyl or the heroin crisis, they called it a crisis and an epidemic. You want to know how many people died that year? 7,000. Not 200,000. So what are we doing? Right? So I'm done talking about that, but please come over here and give us a chance. I really do hope that you do. And no, if you just want to come over and just check it out and learn, it's huge for people, I promise. But anyway, back to this real quick. We are going to go ahead and end it. This is that latest flare. We did have an Xflare. Anything else big that happens, I'll be back on here, guys. All right, I promise you. So God bless. Thanks to all my mods. Thanks to anybody else that just popped in and that's new kind of here. I really do appreciate you. Hit that. I'll do the YouTube thing here real quick. hit the subscribe, hit the bell, hit the notification, hit the this, hit the that, hit the this, right? But no, seriously, please do, because it does help. Please share this out. If you learned anything from what I said tonight, please share this out to people, please. It's the only way I can try to spread what I think is going on. And you know, I don't monetize my channel. I'm not saying that I never will, but I haven't yet. I'm considering doing it because I want to start memberships to give you guys some perks, especially the people that have been with me for a minute. I would actually like your guys' opinion on that. I mean, would that bother you guys if I did do that? Because if it will, I won't do it at all. That's not why I'm here. I'm not here for that. But again, I will do it if you guys are not wouldn't be upset with it. I do want to give you guys some perks, become members or whatever. It doesn't mean that I have to run ads on my videos. I have the ability to shut that off, no matter if I'm monetized or not. That's a lot of other channels won't tell you that. Okay? And for me, most of my videos, I probably would just not even turn the monetization on. I just want to do it for the member aspect of it because it gives me a more personal thing with you guys, and it allows me to give something back. So yeah. Bagley's channel. Oh, you came over from Bagley. Okay, cool. Yeah, Pastor Paul. Go check him out, guys. I have to say, you know, I kind of lost my way for a while, a few years back, and watching Pastor Paul help get me back to my root of my Christianity, and you know, I appreciate that. I really truly do. It's helped me become a better dad because I became who I was before, and you know, when I lost my way with the drug addiction, I kind of lost all of it. And it's just one of the steps. And you know, again, you know, it's just great to have a place to go where people share your religious beliefs and things. And that's, you know, that's what it did for me. So go check out Pastor Paul. Go check out everybody. Hey, Sig. Thanks, man. I appreciate you, brother. I really do, man. Sig's been around forever, guys, so you know. He's OG. If Leisure's in here, he's OG too. Ilea, sorry, you're not OG. Not yet. Give us about 6 months, we'll start calling you OG. Alright? She's a newer mod here, guys. So Stephanie, hey, you're in that thing too. I'm just kidding. I'm just messing with you guys. But no, seriously, I can't tell you how much I appreciate each and every one of you guys. I just want to give back to you. So please. Come check us out, and yeah, the lifeboat again. So God bless. Yahusha saves. I can attest to that, by the way. And you can drink this Kool-Aid.